The green jersey, or maillot vert, is the sprinter's jersey, which will be worn by the cyclist who leads in the points category. Here now to break down the green jersey betting is Ian O'Sullivan, owner and author of cyclingbetting.co.uk. Now, looking at the odds available, it appears we have three contenders for the points clarification. We've got Peter Sagan, 1.91, William Hill, Alexandra Kristoff, 4.33, Bet365, and then Mark Cavendish, 6.5, 888 Sport. Would you say it's between these three, or should we consider another cyclist?
I think it's wide open this year. There are a couple of other guys who I've got my eye on. Nacer Bouhanni is one who I was really liking his chances up until he crashed in the French National Championships last Sunday. He was somebody who was around 20 to 1 at the time. I think he can get involved in a lot of the sprints. He seems to be coming good at the right time. But he crashed quite heavily on the finishing straight and tweeted later on that night that he was probably not going to make the Tour de France. And he showed a picture almost totally naked, but just covered in lots of bandages. So he seemed to be quite battered. He thought he had broken ribs. But then the very next day he went and tweeted that all was well, nothing broken, and he was named in the squad. So it'll be interesting to see whether he'll be nursing wounds for the first couple of days, or whether he's sometimes these guys get a bit of a bang and they over elaborate, they over exaggerate to just to play games, to try and throw the other guys off a little bit. I'm hoping it's that rather than the other. He walked to the finish with his bike over his shoulder. He can't be that badly injured if he was able to do that. So he's one I'll have an eye on. I think he popped out to something like 25 to 1, and I backed him at that. He's around 20 to 1 now. An amazing stat though on that guy was when he tweeted that it looked like he was going to miss the Tour de France. He used the word sûrement in French, which a lot of people thought meant I'm surely going to miss the Tour de France, but actually in French it means probably. He wasn't definite about it, but some people got a bit carried away on Betfair and they laid him out to 1,000 on Betfair, 999 to 1. And one of my followers, actually, one of my friends on Twitter, when I said, wow, Nacer Bouhanni is traded at 1,000 on Betfair, he replied with a screenshot, and it was he, in fact, managed to get something like £2.20 matched at 1,000 to 1 on a guy who's a 20 to 1 shot. Wow. So I'm sure he'll be getting very excited if Nacer does well.
So who's your bet to wear the green jersey?
Well, I'm going to go for Peter Sagan. He's been my banker bet for the last couple of years in the Tour de France. My biggest bets of the Tour de France for the last 2 years running has been on Peter Sagan. And I tipped him up last year and I said, basically, you back this guy, he's probably going to be a third of his price within a matter of days. And I think he went from something like even money to 1 to 4 after a couple of stages. It could be the same this year. I think if you're going to back him now. Don't go waiting to see what happens in the first couple of stages. He's an absolute green jersey machine. He has won green jersey after green jersey in various races he's been in. He just picks up points everywhere. The way to win the green jersey in the Tour de France is just consistency. You've got to win points day after day, no matter what kind of stage it is. There are also intermediate sprints, they call them, throughout the stages, where there are 20 points, I believe, are awarded to the winner of the stages, right down to something like 20th place in each stage, or each intermediate sprint. So it's not just for winning the final sprint of each stage, but if there's a breakaway and there's 3 or 4 guys in the break, they'll pick up the first points, but there's still plenty of points available, and you'll have guys like Peter Sagan, nipping points, nipping out the bunch, picking up the points, and just racking them up day after day. The difference between Peter Sagan and, say, some of his closer rivals like Mark Cavendish, who's the best sprinter in the race, and ironically, even though the jersey is for the best sprinter, it's not always the best sprinter who actually wins the race. It's all about consistency. Mark Cavendish will probably win several stages, but he'll be nowhere to be seen on some of the tougher stages with the hills, whereas Sagan will.
All right, and now is the time to back him.
Yes, I think so. There's several stages in the first week where he should do well. I think Stage 4 over the cobbles is a stage he's probably got his eye on. There are a couple of sprints on the first week as well, where he should be, in the first 5 or 6, 7 maybe. So he'll be picking up points there as well, and he'll be sniping points in the intermediate. So I don't think his price will go out after the first week unless he has an absolute shocker. Mark Cavendish will probably win the first sprint. He'll he'll get some big points there, but he'll be nowhere to be seen for the next couple of days, especially over the cobbles. He's not going to be involved in that. So I think, yes, if you're going to back Peter Sagan, do it now. I think you can get nearly even money on Betfair. He's around 10 to 11 with the best price in the bookies. It depends who you bet with, but I'd take it now. It's not going to get much bigger than that. And if it does, I'd back him again.
Okay, perfect. That was Ian O'Sullivan from cyclingbetting.co.uk. The link can be found in the description right below this video. Do check it out. Ian, thanks a lot for coming on the show today.